History is the Japanese decision to bomb Pearl Harbor, which brought the United States into World War II. History is Robert E. Lee's choice to command Confederate armies instead of Union armies in the Civil War, so that the Union had a much harder time winning the war. History is the settlement of New England by Pilgrims and Puritans, so that their ideas influenced the kind of government the United States eventually had. History is Christopher Columbus persuading the King and Queen of Spain to support his voyage in which he discovered the New World. History is a record of events which have made a difference in the world. You can easily see that not all events make history. When Robert E. Lee decided to command Confederate armies, he made history. His decision made a difference in the way the Civil War was fought and the results of that war. But not everything Robert E. Lee did in his life would be written in a history book. The book would be so long and dull that not even Mrs. Robert E. Lee would want to read it. Historians are men who write history. They must make choices about the events to be included. They must decide which events have made a difference and should be recorded. Since every historian has his own ideas and views, each one will choose different events to put in his history. Nearly every historian of the Civil War will include Lee's decision for the Confederacy. But not all of these historians will think it is important to know whether or not Lee himself owned slaves. Some historians will emphasize one battle of the war, others a different battle. Some will give credit for the North's victory to President Lincoln, others to General Grant. There is no perfect history of the Civil War which includes everything that everyone believes is important and omits everything that everyone thinks is unimportant. People have too many different ideas, so they cannot always agree on what is and is not important. It is the same with the history of any war, or any country, or any century. Each historian will write about the events he thinks are important and will give his own point of view on these events. If they did not, history would be a boring list of dates and events, nothing more. The history which you will read this year will cover events from 4,000 years ago up to the present. It obviously can't discuss everything, or you would never finish the book. Therefore, it must judge which events in the history of the world have made the most difference and have had the most influence on the most people.